Welcome back, everybody. As the president pushes his gun control plan, a new poll this morning shows what the New York Times is calling unprecedented support for tighter gun control. The New York Times and CBS News poll shows 54% support stricter gun laws. Just last April, that number was 39%. I want to get right now to New York Police Commissioner Ray Kelly. He's been pushing for stronger gun laws. New York State just passed a bill that would ban assault weapons, and high-capacity magazines really made that law stronger. Nice to have you with us, sir. We appreciate it. Do you think because of what we've seen in New York, we're going to see a year out, 2 years out, 3 years out, a big decline in gun deaths?
Probably not. We know that there's 300 million guns abroad in America. That universe is not going to be reduced significantly. In urban America, we're plagued with handguns, and most of the law focuses on assault weapons, which is a good thing. But the concealable handguns are really the problem, certainly in New York and other large cities.
So then what do you, I mean, if all we've been talking about is assault weapons ban, which many people think will not even make it through Congress, and if you look at the items on the president's list of executive orders that he could issue, they're more about meetings and strengthening things. What do you do about gun violence, especially here in New York City?
Well, it's a complex issue. There's no single answer. I think the universal background checks will make a difference. It will take some time for that to have an effect. But, you know, there's no easy answer here. We're going to have a gun problem in America, irrespective of what legislation is passed. The Supreme Court has basically, made certain that the Second Amendment is alive and well.
So then, how do guns come into New York? We already had a fairly stringent law. So
right.
How do those guns come into this city?
90% of the guns that we confiscate here are coming from out of state. They come up what we call the Iron Pipeline, US 95, come up from southern states, Pennsylvania, certainly feeders into New York. So
how would a universal background check help that?
Well, 40% of gun sales now are not recorded anywhere, so to slow that down somewhat, it's a help. And each of these things is a movement in the right direction, the president's proposals, but clearly not a panacea.
Armed guards in schools, arming teachers in schools. What do you think of those proposals?
I don't think it's a wise idea. I don't think we need it, certainly universally. In New York City, we have some police officers in some schools. We have 1.2 million students. Some schools are, maybe more problematic than others. Obviously, we're focused on internal order for the most part. But I don't think that's a solution. And again, people who gone into the schools, these madmen that have done this are suicidal. So they very easily would shoot the person who's armed to start off one of these rampages.
Because of that very thing, there are people who'd say nothing would have changed in Newtown. The laws would not have made that massacre not happen.
Probably not. It would have happened, but if you reduce the size of the magazines, maybe a child or 2 or 3 children would be alive today as a result of that. Every little bit helps, and I think the large capacity magazines have no place in a civilized society.
Let's talk for a minute about prescription drug theft, and you're proposing something that it really sounds very strange on its face, which is to put chips inside of prescription bottles. Explain to me the theory behind that. Actually,
a GPS device. This was done by the manufacturer of OxyContin, and I commend them for it. The Purdue farmer actually started this program. We certainly support it. They've been supportive of us. We think that there's more that can be done as far as being able to track these drugs. People break in, they do burglaries, they do robberies, they take these drugs. We want to know where they're going. So we think it can be a deterrent and certainly be an investigative tool for us. So it's another move in the right direction.
Absolutely fascinating.
You can also there's also technology to lock the cap of an OxyContin bottle or a bottle of prescription drugs so that it opens only at the prescribed time to open again, so that somebody can't take too much or somebody can't take it and use it off label. There are lots of things that you can do to try to keep the pills in the bottle until they're needed, notwithstanding that somebody else gets them who shouldn't have them. There's some interesting technology along those lines.
This whole problem has exploded.
Yeah, it's huge.
Emergency room visits have gone up, doubled in the last 2 years. So it's a major issue, and it causes violence, and that's what we're trying to address with this program.
Back to our gun violence issue we started with. Ray Kelly is the New York City Police Commissioner. Nice to have you with us, sir. We appreciate your time. Ahead this morning on Starting Point.